Today we celebrate the feast of the Transfiguration and we read Luke chapter 9 verse 28 to 36. Moments of vision, of realisation are quite rare in life. Have you had an experience when it's as if everything falls into place and you realise what it's all about, and it seems at once simple and profoundly meaningful? Even when someone is trying to explain something to you and you eventually find that the penny drops and you say, "Oh, I see." It's like gaining sight. All becomes clear and obvious, and perhaps you think, why couldn't I see that before? If it's me and it's a mathematical explanation, my moment of vision is very brief indeed. Seconds later I've lost it again. Well, the disciples on the mountain with Jesus had a moment of revelation, of vision, when they saw as never before. Why were they granted it? Perhaps as an encouragement after hearing from Jesus not only that he was to die an awful death, but that they too must be prepared to take up their cross. What would be the point of all that suffering? This vision could help them understand that the time of suffering was a transition, not the end, and that glory would follow. So Jesus was transformed, no longer looking like an ordinary, probably quite scruffy peasant, but glowing with the glory of God. And with him, flanking him, supporting and affirming him, were Moses and Elijah, the law and the prophets, all that had gone before, leading up to this moment, talking to him of the exodus he was about to achieve. The exodus. Like Moses, leading the people out of slavery to a new life with God, Jesus would lead his people through death, the Red Sea, to risen life beyond. A moment of revelation indeed. But probably it took them some time to really grasp the whole message of the vision. The Gospel writers make it very clear to us that this was an experience which eclipsed even Moses meeting with God in the cloud on Mount Sinai when the old covenant was sealed. Now the new covenant is to be completed, which all the prophets have pointed forward to and longed for. When Peter, James and John look back afterwards at that experience, I wonder how it felt to them. Back down from the mountain in the realities of daily life, did they look at Jesus and see that glowing figure? Or did it seem unreal? Perhaps it was just too much to take in. I imagine it may not have been until after the resurrection that they began to join up the dots, as it were, and really to understand the meaning of that vision. It was the same Jesus, and that had given them a glimpse of his true nature just for a moment. It seems that they didn't speak of it to others until after that first Easter. Most of the time, you and I are not granted such a vision. We have the record of this one and others in Scripture, but in terms of our own personal experience, it may never happen to us. Some studies of the spirituality of children find that they can have moments of insight, of spiritual experience, but that it tends to die out in adulthood. Some may be discouraged by adult scepticism. Perhaps we need to have the eyes and the thoughts of a child to receive such an insight. Is this what Jesus was thinking when he took a child onto his lap and said, "Become like a little child to enter the kingdom"? None of us, though, young or old, can make visions happen. We can't control them. We can only be open to the possibility and give thanks for any insight we receive, remembering always that behind and beyond everyday ordinariness is an extraordinary presence, a dazzling glory.